Now, what a weekend it was for Britain's very own Billy Monger, who made history for a double amputee at the Ironman World Championship in Hawaii. Monger lost his legs when he's involved in a near-fatal car crash in 2017. He absolutely smashed the Ironman record at the weekend. He took more than 2 hours off the previous record. Absolutely astonishing. Let's get more from the man himself. Billy, good morning.
Morning, Billy.
Morning, guys.
Billy, well, first of all, how are you feeling? Have you recovered?
No, I've definitely not recovered.
Right.
My body's absolutely battered.
Gosh. Did you realise what you had done to that world record?
Obviously, I knew of the world record before we started, but it's so hard with an event that takes that long, going for 14, 15 hours to kind of know where you're sat in comparison to that. But I just knew within myself that the race was going well and going to plan. And yeah, when I realised and found out that I'd broken it by over 2 hours at the end, it was, absolutely mind-boggling, to be honest.
Well, do you know what? I suppose, obviously, you lost both your legs in a car accident, and you've got two options. You either sit at home and don't do anything, or you've done what you've done, and you're an inspiration to everybody. So what made you think Ironman, not just marathon running, Ironman? I mean, it's the toughest sport ever.
Yeah, to be honest, the whole idea for the challenge came off the back of when I did a previous challenge for Comic Relief back in 2021. I really found it rewarding to do something for charity and to give back to others, because after my accident myself, I had a lot of support by the motorsport community and wider sort of nation, really, that came around me. And I really felt the benefit of that. So I love doing stuff to give back. And my trainer enjoyed training me for that challenge at the time. He went away and came up with a few ideas of maybe other stuff that I can do. And on that list was an Ironman, and the world record was attached to that, where he thought that there was potential for me to go out there and break that world record. And that was something, as an athlete, as a competitor, that really caught my interest. And it was something out of my comfort zone. And before I started training for this Ironman, I'd never really run more than 5K before on prosthetic legs. So like you say, it's the complete other end of the spectrum doing endurance sport like this. But yeah, it's been a huge journey. There's been ups and downs, but I've loved every minute of it. And to compare myself to where I was a year ago is a bit mad.
Oh, you mentioned the train. How much training do you have to do?
Yeah, I mean, when I started, it was probably around 8 to 10 hours of training a week. And it probably, was around 20 odd hours a week in the peak weeks before coming out to Hawaii. So yeah, close to 3 hours a day by the end of my sort of, preparation for Kona.
So Billy, what were the worst bits?
The worst bits? Where do I start? I mean, probably... It's what set the tone for me on the start of the event was getting stung by a jellyfish in the ocean for the swim about 100 meters in. I mean, that kind of set the tone of what you've got coming up. I think the bike ride, there were some really strong crosswinds out there, particularly at the halfway point. And for me, being a double amputee, I actually generate a lot of my power on one side of the bike, which means when I get those crosswinds, I'm probably affected more so than others. So I found that quite tricky to navigate. And then the run, when you started at 6:30 in the morning and you run into the night and it's pitch black, just to keep mental strength in those moments, that was probably, those last few miles felt like they were going on forever, let's say.
Oh, it's just traumatic. I mean, you can't even imagine running for that far, and obviously you've lost your legs. Do you get like blisters and sores? Like where you have to use, you're just using your top half for everything, really, aren't you?
Yeah, it's definitely. My legs are not looking in the best of shape today. I've got cuts and sores everywhere. Had to have a little quick brief trip to the medical tent afterwards just to get a few bits bandaged up. Yeah, I'll be taking a few days off my legs at least, just to let everything heal up as best as possible. But that's kind of, something I've come to expect with, taking on a challenge of this scale. I knew that was going to come along the way, and it was just about trying to be like mentally resilient in those moments.
So it's absolutely amazing. Look, Billy, don't be modest. How much have you raised for Comic Relief so far?
Well, the last challenge I did for Comic Relief, we raised £3.1 million, and we're in the early stages of fundraising. There'll be a documentary that follows my whole journey, and which will come out in March of next year. So hopefully we can raise even more money.
Oh, mate.
Unbelievable.
Mate, that's absolutely sensational. I mean, that is absolutely brilliant. I'll take my hat off to you. I watched you on Race Across the World as well, by the way. Really, I enjoyed you in that, probably more than you enjoyed it in the end.
Yeah, that was tricky and challenging as well. But yeah, having the Ironman yesterday, that was a walk in the park.
Did you manage to catch any of the Grand Prix?
I caught the highlights this morning out in Hawaii on our time. So yeah, I had a little quick look at the race.
Is that 47-point gap too much for Lando Norris to close, you think?
It's hard to say. Lando needs to win every race now to the end of the season to give himself a chance, and that is not going to be easy because Ferrari look good, Red Bull have their moments, and Max Verstappen is ruthless. So it's going to be an interesting, last few races to see how it unfolds. But yeah, it's at least it's exciting, and it could go down to the wire.
Look, Billy, you're going to take a few days off.
At least a few days. Yeah. I was lucky to have my family out here supporting me, so we're going to have a few days just to sort of digest what's happened and take it all in, and spend a lot of time horizontal, to be honest.
Oh, mate, well, you enjoy, you deserve it. Absolutely brilliant, Billy.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely in awe. Fantastic. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Billy Monger, more than 2 hours off any world record is
amazing.
Just beyond all comprehension.
3.1 million he's raised.
I know, isn't that
it's
amazing?
Isn't it?
Yeah, and that's before the bulk of the money for this one. I mean, what? You are dead right, by the way, when you say, he's been involved in this terrible car crash. You've got two choices. You sit back, feel sorry for yourself, or you get on and you achieve something and make your own life different, but make a difference to other people's lives as well. And Billy's done both of those things. So well done to him.